Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Tom.
It's time!
Live from the CSB studios in Westbury, New York.
It's the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Featuring co-host Kevin Dolan and the host that's been here since day one, Jerry Napoleonello.
On Zeno Radio and
on All Noise Radio.
What's up? Thanks for choosing to spend your afternoon with us. Tom and Jerry Sports Show, you're live with Jerry Knapp and Kevin Donlin on Zeno Radio, All Noise Radio, the Live 365 app, and most recently, iTunes. There's so much to get to. Is there honestly a better time in sports than right now? I mean, we got NFL in full swing. We got the MLB playoffs. We got NHL just started. But let's start with the Tom and Jerry Sports Show 60-second summary.
That's right. Major League Baseball playoffs have been nothing short of exciting. Mets and Dodgers series has been the most drama-filled. After the Mets cruised past the Dodgers in Game 1 behind the arm of Jacob deGrom, Game 2 had a bit more fireworks as Chase Utley took out Mets shortstop Ruben Tejada. Harvey then took them out last night and didn't win because of him, but the Mets hitting as they scored a franchise-best 13 runs in a playoff game. Mets lead 2-1.
Assessment is 2 out of 2 with a couple of runs scored. And that ball is absolutely scorched to left. 3-run shot. And the Mets have blown it open.
Mets continue their series tonight. Game 4, Kershaw and Mets at 8 o'clock live from Citi Field. Chicago Cubs also took a 2-1 series lead with an 8-6 win over the St. Louis Cardinals. In the AL, Kansas City Royals come back to win 9-6 over the Houston Astros to tie that series up at 2-2. Game 5 is on Wednesday, and Toronto comes back in the series after being down 2-0 to tie the series at 2. Game 5 is also on Wednesday. Very wild Monday Night Football last night between the Pittsburgh Steelers and San Diego Chargers. Steelers found themselves down 20-17 with 5 seconds left on the 1-yard line. Tomlin decides to bypass the field goal to go for it. Le'Veon Bell takes the Wildcat snap and reaches over to give the Steelers a 24-20 win.
Wildcat, big at the bottom of the screen. It's Bell. Bell seeking space. Bell trying to go over the top. He fights to the goal line. He's in for the touchdown at the gun. The Steelers win.
We are through the first week of hockey. Rangers come out on fire through the first 3 games, but they came out with 6 points and a 3-0 record, wins over the Blackhawks and 2 against the Blue Jackets. The Islanders opened up their home in Brooklyn with mixed reviews, but on the ice, the Isles came away with 3 points and a 1-1-1 record with a win over the Jets on Monday and an overtime loss and a regulation loss and a home-and-home with the Chicago Blackhawks. Devils started off with a rough 0-2 start with losses to the Jets and Capitals. Chiefs often injured special running back Jamal Charles tears his ACL in his right knee Sunday and will miss the rest of the season. Charles missed all but 2 games in 2011 because of a torn ACL in his left knee. And I'm Kevin Dolan, and that was your Tom and Jerry Sports Show 60-second summary.
Just looking at the 60-second summary, I don't even think it was 60 seconds because there's just so much news to get to. There's so much to talk about. These are one of the days that you kind of wish, like at least we kind of wish that we had like 5 hours to talk about all of this stuff. There's just so much to talk about. You got, the MLB playoffs that is in full swing. You got, the NLDS, you got the ALDS. The wild card games recently were great. And, these, the division series for each, the AL and NL, there really hasn't been bad games at all.
Absolutely not. I think a lot of these games have come down to the wire. Even games that were, well in hand, what you thought were well in hand, teams have found ways to come back. Obviously, last night the New York Mets, actually probably the biggest blowout you've seen in any baseball game so far in the playoffs. The Mets hitting really woke up in this game, especially after a rough start from Matt Harvey.
This is a franchise best in the playoffs for the Mets to score 13 runs. You're speaking with Jerry and Kevin. We're taking calls 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. We're talking about the Mets right now. The most talked about, during this whole division series between the Mets and the Dodgers is obviously Game 2. Chase Utley going in hard to break up a double play, breaks Ruben Tejada's leg, and there's a lot around this. Many people thought it was dirty. In my opinion, I thought it was a baseball play. That is exactly what you're taught to do. The main thing for a base runner is not to let that be a double play.
They're treating this game. This game's going to get more and more strict as you go along. This is what happens when you have feedback from fans left and right on social media. First, you got the home plate collisions taken away from the game of baseball, which you ask any old timer, and they'll tell you that's a disgrace. I mean, you can't block the plate. You can't do that. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. And now you're going to start seeing the MLB have serious talks about sliding into second to break up a double play.
Yeah,
that is baseball, folks. Okay, we're talking about one of the fewest contact injury sports, and the few times there's an injury or contact of any sort, we're going to take it away from the game of baseball. These guys get paid millions of dollars. Okay, and this is what happens when you start paying guys millions of dollars. Everyone becomes an asset, and when you become an asset, you get pitchers that want to not pitch 200 innings in a season. You got guys that don't want to break their legs, at a home collision at home, or at obviously a slide to break up at second base. I mean, I'll be honest with you, the game of baseball is losing. Is losing my respect left and right. Yeah. I mean, it has a lot to do with the fans' feedback. That's just my personal opinion on the matter. This game is changing left and right.
The thing with this play, with me, I played baseball my whole life. You've played baseball your whole life as well. We were taught not to let that happen. If there's a ground ball, you're at first. Your job is to break up that double play. So if it means taking out the second baseman or the shortstop, that's what you do.
That's what you have to do. I've seen people do it on Sunday softball. So you're going to tell me you can't be done?
That's what I'm saying.
It's when you're getting paid too much money. That's the problem.
The thing is,
everyone's an asset.
Even now, I played second base. I played second base my whole life. As a fielder, on the other hand, you're taught never to put your back to the runner. Never.
And you get out of the way, if anything. If you know you're only going to get one out, obviously Ruben Tejada on the situation needed the double play. The Mets needed the double play in that inning in particular. But
the craziest thing about this play is that Chase Utley was safe.
Yeah, I really don't believe that call. I mean, but that's just, there's a lot that went into
because that's a neighborhood play. That's a neighborhood play. You're taught to, you don't have to step on the bag because of exactly what happened with Ruben Tejada, getting your leg taken out or something like that if you're on the bag. So the neighborhood play is just as long as you're in the neighborhood, basically, it's an out. They were saying that he wasn't trying to throw the ball to first for the double play. He was just going for the force, and he didn't step on the bag.
And what you do is you step on the bag and you get out of the way.
Exactly.
You get out of the way. You leap up in the air. You do whatever you can to get out of the way. Obviously, listen, I'm not putting fault at Ruben Tejada here. I'm not putting fault at Chase Utley here. Obviously, Chase Utley slid a little late, but he had to make a play to save his team. And honestly,
we were even taught to.
There's going to be an appeal about it. I mean, this is just getting embarrassing. MLB is just getting worse.
He got suspended for this.
Baseball.
He got suspended.
Baseball is just getting worse and worse. They're treating these kids like they're all kings, and that's what happens when you become such an asset from making so much money. Every player has an asset. This guy's making millions of dollars, and you don't want him to get hurt, or you want to protect these players as much as you can. You're ruining the game of baseball. That's exactly what you're doing. You're ruining it.
My question is if Tejada didn't get hurt, are we talking about a suspension here?
No, not at all.
Exactly. I think it's ridiculous. It's a freak accident
that
he got hurt. Chase Utley didn't go into second.
By next year,
wanting to hurt him.
By next year, there's going to be a particular rule about how to slide into second. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Now you're getting rules left and right in the game of baseball. You're ruining the sport. You're literally the sport is becoming less and less popular every single year.
Absolutely.
From what I've seen. Okay, especially on the coverage on ESPN. I mean, you get more coverage of the NFL on a Week 5 matchup than you're getting on the MLB playoffs.
You know what? Baseball is getting high ratings during this playoff.
Of course, it's been an exciting one, like we talked about.
Exactly.
I mean, every game's been exciting.
Yeah, and baseball. The playoffs has been on an upswing for baseball. I'm happy about it too because I love watching baseball. I love baseball.
I'm just saying, with coverage with ESPN, you're seeing a regular Week 5.
I mean, if the NBA was playing right now, we'd be seeing LeBron James, and it would overtake the NFL. It's just ESPN is more of a a favorite kind of thing. You know, we look at.
I'll tell you
LeBron
right now,
James.
they're not getting feedback from Twitter or anything like that, because every Twitter handle that you see left and right, it's all ESPN's talking about LeBron again, da da da.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're obviously not
fixing that.
Yeah, of course.
But we're gonna get into the NFL because that's what we love to talk about, and we're not Met fans, so we're not going to talk that much about it.
Well, the thing is, I mean, everyone else is talking about the Chase Utley slide.
I know.
It's just I'm tired of hearing about it, and let's move on. It's a new game, new series. Let's go. I mean, we're going to already ruin baseball to begin with this slide. Probably going to take it out of baseball altogether. It's a joke.
Colts Texans Thursday night football.
I don't even know why we're talking about. This game was boring. It was such a bad one, man.
Mallet is terrible.
Mallet's terrible.
Hoyer,
Hasselbeck's the most impressive player I've seen.
And he was sick. He was in the hospital.
It just shows you how
Wednesday
how hurt Andrew Luck must be right now, to the point where the Indianapolis Colts would put a starter out. That's 40 years old and in the hospital.
Yeah, I think if if it was a Sunday game, I think he would have been playing.
And you also got to remember Hasselbeck 2-0 right now.
Oh, I know.
And
so
Andrew Luck had a hard time winning games for the Indianapolis Colts, so it makes you understand.
He was a turnover machine.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, let's be honest, the Indianapolis Colts offensive line is not one of the best. Houston's defensive line is one of the best. And Hasselbeck was able to get his team a well-deserved victory. And honestly, at no point were the Houston Texans even close to coming back and winning this game. They were down by two scores most of the game.
And
great performance.
The interception at the end of the game was absolutely horrendous by Hoyer.
Yeah, that was pathetic. Horrendous. Yeah, that was probably one of the most pathetic plays.
I don't know. But you throw it away. You don't throw it away to the middle of the field. It's always going to get picked off.
You saw the head coach for the Houston Texans. I mean, you could read his lips. He said, "What were you doing?" He literally said those words. I mean, it was just a bad turnover, and obviously the Colts go on to win that game. Excellent performance from Hasselbeck and the rest of the Colts team. And Houston continues to struggle, even on the defensive side. This defense that we thought was going to be superb, with the great defensive line and Jadeveon Clowney,
really
J.J. Watt, and Vince Wilfork, they're nowhere to be found.
Yeah, but you know what?
They're not getting
J.J. Watt is nowhere to be found. Clowney's playing all right, but they have no quarterback. They have no offense whatsoever.
You're double teaming J.J. Watt. That means you're getting one-on-one with Vince Wilfork, who is, I can't even tell you how many pounds that man is. He is a big man, okay, and you're going one-on-one with a center, and you can't beat him. So right now, the Texans have a lot of trouble. It makes you wonder if that signing for them was a good signing or a bad one. And Jadeveon Clowney, I mean, I don't know if he's not fully healthy. I mean, he had a decent game, good job at stopping the run, but this guy cannot pass, give the quarterback any kind of pressure whatsoever. It was disappointing.
Scores for the rest of Week 5 up next. Also, we have 5 undefeated teams in the league thus far.
Last year they didn't have one single 4-0 team. Now there's 3 5-0s and a 4-0 too with the New England Patriots.
But are they really the 5 best teams? We'll let you know what we think next on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Do you have sports opinions? Or do you want to start your own sports debate? Then Overtime is right for you. Overtime is an app for sports lovers made by sports lovers. This is the best place to talk about sports. Overtime is available at the iTunes App Store. Be a part of something big and help us take the game to OT. Overtime. The game never ends. Follow the NFL this season on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Tuesday on Zeno Radio and re-airs Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports, or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. Remember to join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports or at our website at tnjsports.weebly.com. The Tom and Jerry Sports Show now has its very own app. If you have an Android phone, be sure to download that through the Google Play Store. And remember now, be sure to download the new sports app Overtime at the iTunes App Store. We were continuing with the NFL.
Also, subscribe to us and listen to us on iTunes. Download that on iTunes. Where our podcast will be up later, probably today or tomorrow.
iTunes, baby, big time.
Yeah, we're moving up.
Let's
moving
go.
Up in the game.
Well, it's, to do a moving, we're going to move on with the NFL. The Cowboys and Patriots took on each other on
We're not really
Sunday
going to
afternoon.
get that much into this game because there's really nothing else to talk about, but Brandon Weeden is absolutely miserable. There's time. It's time to put Matt Castle in. The Cowboys defense played very well in the first half. They were all over Tom Brady, all over him. They had 4 sacks in the first half. But when it comes to a point where you have like 8 3-and-outs in a row, your defense is going to get tired. No matter how good your defense is, they are not going to be able to hold you close if they're on the field for 10 out of the 15 minutes of a quarter.
I thought the Dallas Cowboys played a great game with a full team. They might have had a chance to win this game. New England Patriots obviously move on to 4-0. Not good for me as a Jet fan. I wish the Cowboys could have done us a little bit of a favor. It'd been nice if you were all healthy, but knowing our luck, the New York Jets are going to take on the Dallas Cowboys, and Tony Romo will be back, Des Bryant will be back, their whole defense will be back.
Yeah.
That's just the kind of luck for a New York Jets fan. I'm not worried though. Jets been playing some great football. Mentioning the Jets, week 4, obviously a week 5 bye for the New York Jets. They come back to take on the Washington Redskins this week. Moving on though,
Cowboys lose that game 30-6. By the way.
Yes, the Giants took on the 49ers at home on Sunday Night Football, and it was an exciting one. Definitely well deserved the prime time. When I watch a game like this, I see the New York Giants could not be stopped. The Giants played a great game. Their offense, obviously, the only time the Giants got stopped in this game was like, for example, a 3rd and 8, and you're getting a 6-yard per catch. I mean, they were completing left and right. I mean, Eli Manning was on his game. He has been on his game all year long. There's no doubt to hate on this man at all. Eli Manning has been the MVP of the New York Giants so far. Because, you look around the rest of this game. The San Francisco 49ers had no pressure at all this entire game.
None.
Okay? And it has a lot to do with maybe the offensive line playing a decent game for the New York Giants, but San Fran hasn't gotten pressure on anybody. Ben Roethlisberger, okay? This guy put up 49 points against the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco's having a very hard time against the pass on everybody right now. Obviously, a great job by Eli to use other receivers besides Odell Beckham Jr., who had been bothered by a hamstring injury late in the game. Did not matter. Came in as a decoy late, and a great job. Larry Donnell with a game-winning touchdown with under a minute to go. Great job for the New York Giants.
Eli had career best 41 completions. The Giants have won 3 straight, and they're on top of the NFC East now.
I'm looking at this game, though, and it was an exciting one and a very high-scoring one. I think the over in this game was a lot. Neither team got any pressure the entire game. I didn't see Eli Manning get touched once, and I didn't see Colin Kaepernick get touched. Colin Kaepernick had all the time in the world, had to throw the ball away. Obviously, San Francisco has their troubles. Obviously, like I said, the New York Giants, the only time they ever got stopped was basically falling short on 3rd down and longs. At no point did they really incomplete passes were, few in this game for the New York Giants. I thought they played an excellent game. They had a well drawn out game plan. I think Tom Coughlin was clear what he wanted to do. He wanted to pass it short, and if he didn't want to pass it short, he wanted to pass it far. It was really a pass for Eli Manning.
It really was. He
really was
54 attempts.
I think there was only like 50. Obviously, and I'll be honest, I'm always one of those, guys that when you watch a football game and you see a team with the lead and they continue to pass it, you're doing yourself hurt. When you throw the ball when you're in the lead, more than you should be. You're obviously setting up for disaster. Obviously, Tom Coughlin has seen what's happened to this team the first couple of weeks of the season. They had leads in the 4th quarter, tried to run the football, tried to keep a well-balanced offense. It didn't work out for them, made them go on 3rd down and longs. Eli Manning had a hard time converting those and led to a lot of punts and a lot of comebacks. So Giants could have been easily 4-0. They have a game plan that they're going to throw a lot. Hopefully Eli Manning can stay on his game because he has been one hell of a player and easily the Giants MVP.
Absolutely. We're going to move on to the next game, Washington and Atlanta.
This was a funny one.
Yeah, actually, Washington played them pretty well in this
I actually
game.
got this right on the dot. I actually said 25-19 was going to be the final score. No, I did not say 25-19. I didn't say 25-19 would ever be the score of any final of any football game. Very, very weird, brought-out game. Obviously, this game being tied at 19 late. Obviously,
basically,
pick 6 won this game.
What we really should be doing is picking against our Madden picks because our Madden picks have been horrendous. Obviously, they did have Atlanta to win this game, but I think Madden went like 4-10, I think, in this, or 5-9, something like that. So we're definitely going to pick against
football. Football has a lot to do with human element. I think it really has a lot to do with the way the game flow goes. Atlanta obviously had a hard time in this game overall.
It looks like Julio Jones is a little bit more hurt than,
They're already saying Thursday he's a possibility to not even play. So, I mean, obviously he wasn't at full effect. Atlanta's offense is a much different offense without Julio Jones. You know what?
It's probably because I took Matt Ryan and Julio Jones in my FanDuel team. And that's probably, I mean, they've put up points basically every game but this one.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Well, there's probably another 10,000 other people that are probably saying the same exact thing you're saying. Moving on, the Cleveland Browns went into Baltimore and came out victorious in overtime, 33-30. Josh McCown went over 400 yards passing. Unbelievable performance from the Cleveland Browns.
Did this game really have to go into overtime? Really?
No.
Because
it didn't.
Because the Cowboy game was on at 4:25. But the one game that that is going to go into overtime is the game that they're going to have on TV. Like, really? I mean, thank God I had the Sunday ticket and I got to watch the first 7 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Because on the Sunday ticket, if the game is on TV in your area, it's blacked out on the Sunday ticket.
Yeah, and you're paying $100.
So basically, I had to watch it on a little screen for the NFL mix until this game was over. Well, but I mean, McCown absolutely torched Baltimore's defense. If you're in fantasy, we have our Fantasy 14 segment, but this is some news right now. Play whoever is playing Baltimore.
Yeah, they really had a hard time stopping anybody in the passing game.
McCown broke all these records for Cleveland Browns quarterback. Yes, McCown.
Josh McCown, the guy that wasn't sure if he was going to start over Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
But, obviously for Cleveland as a team, that was a good win for them. They needed a win like this, especially in the division, if they want to make any kind of a threat to get up there and catch either Cincinnati or Pittsburgh. Moving on to Cincinnati, there was a game in Cincinnati this past Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks, and Cincinnati
we both picked Cincinnati in this game.
One hell of a comeback, though, man.
This was my upset.
I thought I was wrong. I thought you were wrong, too. I mean, Seattle had a well-controlled game into the fourth quarter. They really collapsed big time in the fourth. I've never seen a bigger collapse.
Cincinnati's defense is really good, man. They're really good.
And obviously, I think Seattle's offensive line is one of the biggest struggles in the entire NFL right now.
But you know what?
Their offensive line has been really bad.
I've always said this, though, with Seattle. Seattle's offense is just not good.
Yeah.
And now that they're missing basically their best player on offense, they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is not their best player on offense. I don't care what anybody says. It's Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch is hurt. They're not playing well without him. They weren't even playing with him. They weren't even playing well with him. The acquisition of Jimmy Graham, you thought was going to be solid, but I knew it. Seattle's, it's just they're not a good offense. They were carried by their defense. They went to 2 Super Bowls with their defense.
It's a good paycheck to Russell Wilson. I mean, I'll be honest, Russell Wilson.
The Jets, when they were going to the AFC Championship games, it was because their defense. It's not because of Mark Sanchez.
No, not at all.
It was not because of Mark Sanchez.
Well,
and it was the same exact thing.
the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, they're not even putting him in right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, moving on, we're going to go to Green Bay. They take on at home against the St. Louis Rams. Rams did a great job at forcing turnovers, but you know how they responded with those turnovers?
Nothing.
They turned the ball over themselves and obviously led to a 24-10 loss.
Well, Aaron Rodgers had 2 interceptions and a fumble.
And then St. Louis decided to fumble, to turn over.
Foles had 5 interceptions.
And so, I mean, it really, you got to win the turnover battle to win in the NFL. You had a great chance. You were doing very good on the defensive side, just nothing from your offense. Nick Foles could have had a better game, and this could have went a different way.
Yeah.
My upset of the week was the Chicago Bears defeating the Kansas City Chiefs, and I was right on with that one. Chicago obviously trailing by 14 late in this game with a huge push from Jay Cutler in the fourth quarter, and a little bit of Matt Forte as well mixed in. An 18-17 walk-off
on that winning touchdown. He fumbled the snap. Cutler fumbled the snap.
Cutler's a very good player. I mean, Chicago Bears have nothing. Okay, on the defensive side, I mean, they don't really have too much on the offensive side right now. Jay Cutler's been an absolute unbelievable player. Any reason why Chicago wins games these days, it's because of Jay Cutler. And a great win, 18-17 on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs.
I thought they were just going to start giving up now. I mean, after trading away Jared Allen.
Oh, you don't give up in the NFL. You want to try to win games.
They traded Bostic as well.
You want to try to win games any way you can.
No, I know, but
and Kansas City obviously had a hard time after losing Jamal Charles. But moving on, we go to Philly. Philly with a unbelievable blowout of the New Orleans Saints, 39-17. A lot of turnovers from Drew Brees, and Philly did a great job.
New Orleans isn't good.
Yeah, they really aren't.
Not good.
They don't have a good offensive line. Their defense, I can't even name you 3 players on that team. On their defensive side, I really can't name a single. I can name Jarius Byrd, and that's about it, man. Yeah. They were very, very thin up front. They're starting like something like 8 or 9 rookies on the defensive side of the ball, and it's showing. 39 points for the Philadelphia Eagles, who have had a hard time scoring on everybody. So for the Saints to give up that many points, I don't care if you're on the road. That's just disappointing.
If the Cowboys would have had Romo, at least Romo, they would have beat the Saints, and that's what gets me mad that we lost that game, especially going into the Patriots now, like losing to the Patriots now with 2-3 when we could have been.
When Tony Romo comes back, they really got to really focus on trying to win like 7 or 8 in a row if they have any chance.
I know,
but I really think that this division with the Giants and Philly and
it gives you
Washington,
a chance.
I don't think anyone's going to pull away. I don't even think 10-6 will win you this division this year. I think a 9-7 record might win it for you. So it'll really come down to the wire. It really depends on how the rest of the season goes. Moving on, we go to Tampa Bay. They took on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I can't tell you if this game was exciting or not exciting. I mean, I seen so much scoring from 2 bad teams. Very surprising game.
But that's what you want to see with this. With, like 2 bad teams, that's what you want to see. At least you want to see a nice blowout.
Of course, a lot of scoring in the game.
Shootout kind of thing.
A lot of scoring in the game. I mean, I'll be honest, Tampa Bay did a great job on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, Doug Martin was unbelievable this week. If you had a daily fantasy league with Doug Martin in your lineup,
you were lucky.
You were probably placing this that afternoon. In general, great performance from Doug Martin. I don't blame it. I mean, I saw it coming a mile away. Doug Martin's a very good player.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's gotten forgotten because Tampa Bay's found themselves trailing a lot of games. So when you're trailing a lot, you're obviously not getting a lot of attempts. And when you don't get a lot of attempts, you're not going to be overly dominant fantasy player. But this is a great week for Doug Martin.
Tampa Bay wins this 38-31. Buffalo wins 14-13 over the Titans. Arizona beats up on Detroit 42-17. Denver beats Oakland 16-10. And obviously the Pittsburgh-San Diego game 24-20 Pittsburgh. We got picks and predictions, locks and upsets, and overtime debate of the week coming up on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. You keep it locked. Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Tuesday on Zeno Radio and re-airs Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. Follow the NFL this season on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. Do you have sports opinions? Or do you want to start your own sports debate? Then Overtime is right for you. Overtime is an app for sports lovers made by sports lovers. This is the best place to talk about sports. Overtime is available at the iTunes App Store. Be a part of something big and help us take the game to OT. Overtime. The game never ends.
I screamed at the top of my lungs, but my voice couldn't take this home. You're proud of the guns you hold. What's left?
The Tom and Jerry Sports Show picks and predictions for Week 6. We are back, and we move on from Week 5 to Week 6. New week, more games coming up in the NFL, and we'll start on Thursday night where the New Orleans Saints will play host to the 5-0 Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Atlanta. Madden picks the same way. So, yeah, Atlanta.
I mean, I'm going to go away. I'm going to go against you guys. I'm going to go with the Saints at home. I think the Falcons aren't going to have Julio Jones for this game. I think the Falcons looked like they were really struggling on the offensive side without Julio Jones. So there you go. There's my pick. I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to go against Madden himself. You know what? Madden's been horrible. So you know what? I'm going with it. I actually hope he took the Redskins.
Madden picked Atlanta 26-20 in overtime.
Oh,
so it was a close game.
No, and they must have gotten the ball first.
Yeah.
6 points.
So,
obviously, they must have scored a touchdown, walked it off. Great job from the Atlanta Falcons. But they probably had Julio in that game, did they not?
Yes, they did. Redskins, Jets.
Redskins come and take on the New York Jets live from the Meadowlands Center at 1 o'clock on Sunday, October 18th. And the New York Jets is my pick, I'll tell you that.
Yep.
Biased all day.
I think we're all going to pick the Jets. Madden picks the Jets 17-7, and I will be picking the Jets as well.
Sheldon Richardson added to this team. The only thing Washington's been able to do all year is run the football. I think it's just going to be exactly. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a disastrous game for the Washington Redskins. This might be a blowout, folks. Something that I'll be watching with a smile on my face.
Arizona and the Steelers.
Wow.
I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals because I've been sticking with them all year. I think they're a solid team. I think they're one of the best in the league. I definitely put them in the top 5, even with a 1 loss.
I agree. I think the Arizona Cardinals defense is completely superior to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I think the Steelers obviously having Michael Vick, they were struggling to score points even on this past Monday last night. Obviously the Cardinals just a much better overall team right now and more healthy, so I'm going to go with the Cardinals.
Yeah, Minnesota and the Chiefs.
I'll be honest. By
the way, Madden went upset here, picking Pittsburgh against Arizona, and they picked them 34-0.
What the?
Yeah, that's Madden for you. That is Madden for you.
What did you put, like John Elway on the Pittsburgh Steelers?
And that's with Vic too. That's not even with Big Ben.
I mean, that just shows the defensive side of the ball holding down that Arizona offense. I mean, cross your fingers on that one, Madden. When it comes to the Chiefs and the Vikings, I think the Vikings have a very, very good defense. I think it's one of the most underrated defenses in football right now. And that's my pick. I'm going to go Minnesota. I think with the Chiefs without Jamal Charles, I think it's going to be a big struggle for that offense to move the ball. I think Minnesota handles this game without a doubt at home.
Yeah, and then we got the Bengals and the Bills. This is going to be a good game. Oh, my pick. Oh, yeah. My pick is Minnesota, and so is Madden's.
All right, all around Minnesota. Here we go, and then on to the next.
Madden picked Minnesota to win 38-28. By the way,
great.
But Bengals, Bills. This is going to be a good game.
Yeah,
I think this is really going to be a good game. 2 top defenses in the league. The Bills, have been here and there. They've shown like great games, and then they've shown pretty bad ones. So I think I got to go with Cincinnati in this game. Cincinnati. I'm
going to disagree here. I'm going to go Bills.
Okay.
I think the Bills at home can pick a big game. I think Cincinnati finds a way to get their first loss of the season. I don't think they're going to go perfect. I don't think a lot of people think they're going to go perfect. Andy Dalton's playing the game of his life right now. I think he's due for a struggling game.
Cincinnati 38-10. Madden picks.
Wow, not even close. Well, there we go. Bills come out with that upset at home. All right, over at where is it? Ralph P. State. What is it called?
I don't even know.
Oh, that's something crazy.
The Bills. It's Ralph Wilson's team.
Ralph Wilson's team, yeah. Boom, it better get loud over there for those Bills.
It is very loud in there.
I know.
Bears-Lions in Detroit. Madden picks Detroit.
I agree with Madden. I don't want to, but I do.
17-0. I'm going to go with Chicago.
That's a little mind-boggling, 17-0.
Yeah.
I don't think you see scores like that in the NFL anymore, but
I'm going with Chicago.
I think the Lions pick up their first win at home in a dome. I think Matthew Stafford gets his act together. I think the Chicago Bears definitely have a very awful defense. They've shown it all year. I think the Lions actually have a better defense than them right now. That's not saying much, but I think the better defense goes to the Detroit Lions. I think they get their first win of the year, 1-5. Let's go.
Remember to join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports or at our website tnjsports.weebly.com. You're speaking with Jerry and Kevin. We are taking calls 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. Tongue twister. We're going to get into the rest of the games here. We got Broncos and the Browns. I'm going with Denver. Madden picks Denver as well.
I'm going to go Cleveland.
You're going to go Cleveland.
I like the home. I like the home teams, man. I really do. I like
Denver 24-10 Madden picks.
I like Cleveland when they're at home. I think this is a very tough defense.
The only thing that I would put with Cleveland is McCown came off one of his the best game of his career.
Funny thing is, I don't even think McCown got hurt late in that game. He might not even start this game. I don't think it matters on the offensive side right now.
But what I'm saying, the only thing that was the changing factor for me in this game is Denver's defense is definitely the best defense in the league. That's where I'm putting them.
Mm-hmm. Well, DeMarcus Ware just got hurt, did he? Huh?
Yeah, he's going to be out a few weeks. Nothing really serious, but he's going to be out probably 2 weeks.
I think Cleveland sneaks out the win at home. I think it'll be a good game.
But I mean,
think it'll be low scoring.
Peyton Manning is struggling.
I think it'll be
and
a low
they're still
scoring.
winning though. That's the thing. That's how good Denver's defense is. That he's struggling. Peyton Manning. Yes, Peyton Manning is struggling. And they're still pulling out wins, and they're 5-0. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they're playing a great game.
That's the only reason why I picked Denver is because their defense is the best defense in the league.
This Browns bet is probably, not too confident in it, but I do like them at home. I think this could be a good game. Hopefully they can get Joe Hayden back, put him on Demaryius, and I think it'll be a tough time for the Broncos.
This game is absolutely horrendous. I'm not even going to put this game on at all. Jacksonville against the Texans. I'm going to go right now with Jacksonville. The Texans are terrible. Ryan Mallett is terrible. I think this is a big Hoyer is terrible.
Believe it or not, in some weird way, I think this is a big game for both teams. I mean, you're talking about a division game. You're talking about the worst division in sports right now. I think this division is god-awful between the, obviously everyone thinks the Colts are going to run away with this. The Colts are going to have the Colts are going to have their own troubles this week taking on the the New England Patriots. So, for this game, this is probably second place all over it. You got the 1-4 Jaguars, 1-4 Texans. I'm going to go with. Oh, man.
Just go with Jacksonville. I mean, how are you picking the Texans?
Blake Bortles might not play. That's how you pick him. I mean, I'm going to go with the Texans. I think with Blake Bortles going to be out for the Jaguars, if he's out for the Jaguars, it'll be a very tough game for Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville just gave up a lot of points to Tampa Bay. And if you can give up a lot of points to turnover machine Jameis Winston, I mean, Brian Hoyer could throw the ball to Jacksonville, literally, and I think they could still find a way to win this game.
Yeah, the Madden picks Jacksonville 27-24.
Very close game.
Yes.
Battle of the worst.
Then we got Tennessee Titans and the Miami Dolphins. Another horrendous game that I probably would not.
This will probably be the sleeper. I mean, I'm yawning just thinking about it. I mean, so the Dolphins taking on the Titans.
Madden picks 27-17 Tennessee.
I don't even know.
I picked Tennessee. I picked Tennessee as well. I think
I'll agree with you guys on this one, only because they're home.
But it just also Miami is just such.
It'd be interesting to see how they come out with the new head coach. Though.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I'm talking about. It's just such
from one of the worst games to one of the best games of the week.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna be.
You're gonna have the Panthers visiting the Seattle Seahawks, the undefeated 4-0 Carolina Panthers taking on the 12th man in Seattle.
Yeah,
this will be
in Seattle. So this is where it was kind of hard for me to pick because Seattle, like I said, Seattle is always a totally different team at home than they are on the road. Totally different.
I think Seattle is going to find a way to lose this game, believe it or not. I think their offensive line troubles are still going to continue. I think Carolina getting all these pass rushers back. I think Luke Kuechly will be back and about. I think the Panthers find a way to stop Seattle for the most part. I mean, you can't stop Russell Wilson to all degrees. He uses his feet very well to try to make plays, and I think that's the most impressive thing about Russell Wilson right now. But I think Carolina finds a way to win this game on the road, and the first team to beat Seattle, I don't even know how long in Seattle. So there's my upset right there. Boom. 4-0 team's an upset.
Well, I'm going with Carolina.
I agree. 100%.
and Madden agrees as well. Madden picks
That's
Seattle.
not a good sign.
Seattle to lose 33-7. At home. You're not going to see that at home. It's not going to happen. That score is not going to happen. Packers, Chargers in Green Bay. Chargers are coming off a very horrifying loss to the Steelers. I'm going Green Bay all the way in this game. Madden picks San Diego to win this game 31-24. Remember, Green Bay is home, too.
I think it's a very high-scoring game. I think Rodgers just coming off a very, very bad turnover performance. It depends on what kind of Rodgers you're going to see in this game. You have to go Packers in this, but, I think if San Diego can force a turnover or two, they got a chance to win this game. San Diego's no pushover.
Absolutely. San Francisco and Baltimore, another game that you probably don't want to watch.
God, I don't even know. I'm going to go with the 49ers.
I am going to go with – I went with the 49ers as well. Madden went with Baltimore 21-14. This was Baltimore was up 21-0 in this game, and the San Francisco 49ers started to come back, just not enough. Because I simulated the game, so I was watching it.
All right, here we go. We got the Patriots and Colts. Next game, Patriots. All right, next one. This is like really a no doubt. I don't even think it matters who starts at quarterback right now. I think now Andrew Luck's having a very hard time. 2 of the 3 wins that the Colts have right now is with Matt Hasselbeck. Obviously, they're at home, but I think that's even more of an advantage for the New England Patriots. I go Patriots all the way.
Yeah, and then I'm going with Patriots as well.
Come on, Madden, Colts.
Madden went with the Colts, 38-35.
That's what I'm talking about.
Giants, Eagles, Giants.
Giants. Eagles being at home.
Madden picked Philly, too, so we're good.
It'll be a close game, yeah.
We are going to go with...
The Tom and Jerry Sports Show presents the Lock of the Week for Week 6.
My lock of the week is going to be New England.
I'm going to be biased. I'm going to go New York Jets.
Ooh. And now we got...
It's time for Jerry and Kevin's Upset of the Week for Week 6.
My upset is, if you want to call it an upset, Chicago over Detroit.
It's going to be the Saints for me. I think the Saints come out at home, take on the Falcons, hopefully no Julio Jones, and hopefully I get an upset of the week.
We have a special guest, Scott Hansbury, next with Fantasy 14 up ahead. Scott Hansbury from UStake will be on. Keep it locked.
Do you have sports opinions? Or do you want to start your own sports debate? Then Overtime is right for you. Overtime is an app for sports lovers made by sports lovers. This is the best place to talk about sports. Overtime is available to the iTunes App Store. Be a part of something big and help us take the game to OT. Overtime. The game never ends.
Follow the NFL this season on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Tuesday on Zeno Radio and re-airs Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live.
I will fight till I take my last breath. I got the heart of a warrior, the heart of a warrior. I've been down, I've been out, and I've been. Yeah. I got the heart of a warrior. Believe.
The Tom and Jerry Sports Show, Fantasy 14.
How you doing? We are back, and it's the Fantasy 14, our fantasy hour here on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
We'll be having our guest, Scott Hansbury, very soon. He'll be calling in very soon. We're going to do the we're going to do a daily lineup here. We're going to pick real quick a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, defense, and a flex position as well. Kevin is going to give you that.
And we're going to start it off with the quarterback position, and we're going to go with Phillip Rivers this week. And this is a matchup that seems pretty intriguing. I think Green Bay's offense has been very, very secure, insecure, basically when it comes to stopping people in general.
Yeah.
This could be a shootout. San Diego might have to find themselves throwing the ball most of this game. Phillip Rivers is a very safe pick. If you don't want to go with Phillip Rivers, or maybe you want to go with a combo, maybe Danny Woodhead could also be a little bit of a sneaky, very cheap play at the running back position. But in my lineup today, I'm going to go with Phillip Rivers. I think for his price, you'll definitely get great numbers out of him. Moving on to the running back position, Arian Foster. Obviously did a lot of work last week despite not having a touchdown. Very good player, a great pass catcher out of the backfield. Jacksonville obviously just giving up a hell of a lot of points to Doug Martin, who hadn't performed all year prior. And I think the Arian Foster is very poised to have a great game this week. At the other running back position, I'm going to go with Dion Lewis. This is a cheaper option. This could also be, maybe a Danny Woodhead if you're trying to fit a little bit of extra room in your lineup. But for me, I'm going to go with Dion Lewis. I know Indianapolis has done a great job at stopping the run, and that's about it. But I think this is a game where, New England might have this game well in control. This might be a game where they might have to run the ball a lot. Dion Lewis also catches a lot of passes out of the backfield. We're talking, two running backs here. Both are pass-catching backs. Obviously, in DraftKings and in FanDuel, you're getting PPR, whether it's half point, full point. This will definitely all add up to points. We're going to go with Calvin Johnson. Yeah, Calvin Johnson this week.
They're going against Chicago. So
yeah, the Chicago Bears, very struggling defense. I think this is the cheapest you're probably going to catch Calvin Johnson all year. I mean, you can go with the Antonio Brown and all this and that, but I mean, do you really want to spend the extra on Antonio Brown with no Ben, or with Odell Beckham Jr. with a little hamstring injury, or do you want to spend more money on Julio Jones, who might not even play this week? So I mean, and if anything, he's going to be playing hurt. So I think Calvin Johnson is a very good play if you want to go for your wide receiver number one. Number two, we're going to go Julian Edelman. The Indianapolis Colts has clearly been one of the worst secondaries in football all season. It makes you wonder whether Vontae Davis will be on Julian Edelman for the most part, but they might be leaning him towards Gronkowski. So Edelman might be able to find a lot of looks underneath, and he's definitely one of a big play this week. This is actually my cheap option that I'm going to go here at wide receiver. We're going to go with Kamar Aiken. This is a Baltimore Raven receiver. He'll be taking on the San Francisco 49ers. So let's be honest, folks. Everybody has been seeing great numbers against the 49ers.
Yeah.
I think the San Francisco 49ers have just been giving up pass yards to everybody. I think this will be a throw, especially on the road for the Baltimore Ravens. Kamar Aiken, very, very cheap option and a very good play going into this week. Tight end position, there's a lot of options you can go here if you want to decide to go maybe Danny Woodhead and go cheaper on the options as opposed to going with like an Arian Foster in this kind of a lineup. And you can fit Gronkowski in your lineup, maybe go with it. But for me, I'm going to go with Antonio Gates. I'm going to stick with the San Diego Chargers. I think even on the road, this is a team that's going to be passing the ball all day long. And Gates even just coming off a 2-touchdown performance. Irrelevant.
If you heard our guest 2 weeks ago, talking about FanDuel and DraftKings like that, basically Eric Grosset said that he likes the quarterback and wide receiver or tight end combination. So if you go Phillip Rivers and you go Antonio Gates, that's a great combination, especially
if they have
what they did
again,
yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely, I think he's their clear-cut goal line
if you
option.
If you haven't listened to that show, go listen to it on YouTube. And it's great insight, on basically
winning money on these daily fantasy lineups. Absolutely. For me, on a flex option, I didn't have too much money after the rest of these players, considering a lot of money on Arian Foster, Calvin Johnson, Julian Edelman. I went with that guy, West. That'll be backing up, obviously, the injured Jamal Charles. This isn't the best matchup in the world. Kansas City taking on, obviously, the Minnesota Vikings, who have definitely had one of the best fronts. But for as cheap as West is going, at about $4,000, you're really looking to try to get 4-1 on your money. So you're looking for like a 16-point week from this guy, and you got to expect him to get a lot of work in with the Kansas City Chiefs. So you really, when you spend $4,000 on a player, you're looking to get a minimum 16 to 20 points from this player.
Yeah.
especially for how cheap he is. And he's going to be my flex option this week. Probably not the best matchup in the world. Again, if you want to go with like a Danny Woodhead in this situation, who's going for about 400 more, I just don't want to load up on too many San Diego Chargers in one lineup. And if San Diego comes out flat, then your team winds up coming out flat, and that's the end of your chances. And last, I'm going to go with the Jets. I mean, we talked about this. The Jets front line against the only thing Washington's been able to do is run the football. I think they're going to do a great job at stopping the run. Going to force Kirk Cousins to throw the ball in uncomfortable situations, which could lead to turnovers, and I think the Jets find themselves getting the first pick 6 of the year this year.
Yeah, and we got the top performers for Week 5. At the quarterback position, it was actually Josh McCown. 457 yards, 2 touchdowns, 12 yards rushing, and also a rushing touchdown. So that definitely was a sleeper. If you started him in FanDuel or DraftKings, you definitely won money because you're absolutely insane.
This week's opponent against Baltimore will be Carlos Hyde. I mean, he could be also another great option to go with.
Then running back, you had Thomas Rawls. Had 169 yards rushing and 1 touchdown. Also, Todd Gurley had 159 yards. Devontae Freeman is continuing his hot streak.
Dominance, really.
Yeah. Wide receiver, you had DeAndre Hopkins, 11 catches, 169 yards. Also, Willie Snead, I started him in my DraftKings, FanDuel, with 6 catches, 141 yards. Tight end, Gary Barnidge, again, 8 catches, 139 yards.
Baltimore's just struggling against everybody right now.
Yeah. So those were the top performers of the.
And if you look at a lot of those guys, man, you're looking at a lot of guys that don't cost a lot of money. I mean, you could have put a lineup this week and easily left about $2,000 of available money to use for your team, and you probably could have had a team in the top 100 out of 300,000, really. Because I mean, a guy, you put a team like Willie Snead, you could have put someone like Marquise Wilson on. Chicago this week. Antonio Gates, really another good week, 20-point week guy. Devontae Freeman, only about 6,000. There's definitely running backs going for more right now. I mean, you think about it. You could have taken Devontae Freeman, or you could have taken Eddie Lacy. That's a big difference. And I mean, most people would want to take Eddie Lacy in that situation. I mean, Devontae Freeman, a great week. Another great week from the running back position that was very... a little bit of an underscore again. A lot of money not used. Dion Lewis, a very good performance again, and Doug Martin, obviously 4,600. He was an unbelievable performer. He was probably the best performer. If you had that man in your lineup, you were definitely in great shape, no matter who you put in.
Yeah, basically.
Obviously, Odell Beckham Jr., a great play. He probably would have been the best play for the amount of money he was, but that's still really not saying much. A lot of big time performers didn't work out this week. Guys like.
What were you saying?
Guys like Randall Cobb, guys like, even Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, not a lot of big performances.
You're speaking with Jerry and Kevin. We are taking calls 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. Remember to join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports or at our website, tnjsports.weebly.com. Also, Tom and Jerry Sports Show has its very own app. If you have an Android phone, be sure to download that through the Google Play Store. Also, download the new sports app Overtime at the iTunes App Store. Also, subscribe and listen to our podcast on iTunes, Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
There's a lot of good options this week for, your fantasy matchups this week. Again, a lot of players that I'm looking forward to having are guys basically particularly on the San Diego Chargers. Green Bay Packers could be good plays this week. I think Texans are very good players to have this week. I think Texans were very impressive because they weren't able to score any touchdowns, despite the fact they were still able to get some great points. Another team that you can look forward to for a lot of points. This is a shocker, but Detroit Lion players. I think even Matt Stafford could be a little bit of a sneaky play, and a play that I don't think you're going to see a lot of people using in, most daily leagues. I think if you're going to go ahead and take Matthew Stafford in a daily league, you're probably out of your mind in most views. But again, when a lot of people don't take a certain player and you go ahead and take that one player, that'll get you over the hump. That'll get you to really be up there and a great chance to win a decent amount of money. And obviously, if Stafford doesn't perform, you better put a second lineup in.
Yeah, I mean, they actually DraftKings and FanDuel had its problems these past week or so. I mean, it was
Oh, yeah, a whole little scandal going on. Apparently, a couple of DraftKings employees playing tournaments for FanDuel and cashing in over $350,000. So, you know what it is? When it came to this report, you see this, and what happens is, you know, when it came down to it, they used a lot of the information that anybody can get. Okay, this is information that a lot of people can get on a day-to-day basis.
A lot of people were worried because they were, you know, it was like, all right, well, they work for DraftKings or they work for FanDuel. They know a lot of stuff that we don't, and that's what people. That's the right away.
The one thing I could think of that they would that I could think of that they would know.
I mean, there's a guy suing them because of this.
Well, what happens is the one thing that I think they could know that not the average person would know without looking up the right information would be, maybe a percentage of players picked for a certain week, depending on lineups that have already been put into the DraftKings, and they might have transferred that over to FanDuel. But at the same time, this is a thing where, like I just said with Matthew Stafford, I mean, this is a guy that no one's going to take. If you want to take the guy that everyone's going to take, if everyone in the world is going to take Devontae Freeman, and Devontae Freeman likes to put up 35 points, that's great for you. But at the same time,
everybody else has him.
Everybody else has him as well. So you're not pulling away from anybody in the league, no matter how many points you put up. You need to basically put in the Doug Martin instead of Devontae Freeman. Save yourself 2,000, get the same amount of points, and get the Odell Beckham Jr. in your lineup as opposed to having the Keenan Allen in your lineup. I mean, Keenan Allen had a great matchup against Pittsburgh this week, and he put up like 8 points, 9 points. He didn't really have a great game, so he put up like 10 points. But
that's the biggest thing with FanDuel and DraftKings. You have to pick somebody that nobody else is going to pick. And
I can tell you a number one pick right now. I can tell you a pick right now that no one else took.
A good game.
I mean, some people took, but Tyler Eifert. I mean, you're taking on the Seattle Seahawks. This is not the best possible matchup you ever want for your tight end. There were guys like Gronkowski looked like he had a great matchup, stuff like that, and you went to go ahead and put in Gronkowski, but instead you decided to save about $3,000 or $4,000, and look at that, you end up getting almost
Gronkowski's what, $9,000? I think
he almost got like 18 more points. Yeah, I mean, but that matchup against Seattle, who thinks to do something like that? But
Ustake is one of 5 cutting-edge tech companies, says Forbes.com. Our guest for today, co-founder and COO of Ustake, Scott Hansbury. How's it going, Scott?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. For the fans that don't know about this, what is Ustake?
Ustake is a online platform where fans can actually help sponsor their favorite athletes or skilled players to get into events and actually share in the winnings.
Oh wow, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, great idea.
Why did you start with poker, and like what is staking in poker?
Staking in poker has been around for the ages. It's basically when somebody wants to get into an event and they need some capital. It's like raising capital, crowdfunding, right?
Oh.
You need some capital to get into the event, so you go around, you talk to your friends, you talk to your buddies, you talk to your acquaintances, and you pretty much ask for people to help buy you into the tournament. And for that, you're going to give them a stake in the winnings. A certain percentage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been going on for years, but it's mostly been kind of handshake deals, backroom deals, things like that, which has caused some issues, caused some legal issues, caused some problems with people kind of running away after they won with the money, things like that. So what Ustake brought to the table was kind of a new way of being able to do that in a safe and secure manner.
More like a
kind of letting
more like a contract kind of thing, right?
Like a what?
More like a contract kind of thing, like a written down statement, basically agreeing to.
Yeah,
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, because in the past, somebody stakes somebody, and they, if you're going to stake a player, you may give them the money right then and there. Right, here's some money to go play in that tournament. Do you ever know if they actually went and played with that? You don't know.
You're right. Absolutely.
With us, with U-Stake, all the money kind of goes through U-Stake into an escrow account. Once all the money is raised enough to play in the tournament, the money goes directly to the tournament people. It doesn't go to the player. To register that player into the tournament, and then if they win, then the money comes back from the tournament folks directly to U-Stake, who then pays the player as well as all the backers directly.
Oh, wow. That's an incredible idea.
Yeah, definitely. I never even really thought of something like that. That's really cool. I mean, what other sport verticals will you be expanding into?
Yeah, like poker was the first one, only because it's been around forever.
Yeah,
of course.
But athletes, whether they're pro, whether they're amateur, at some point they all need financial staking and backing and sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
So we started with poker, but then we're going to move into areas like golf, tennis, daily fantasy sports, X Games, online gamers.
Oh, wow.
So this is kind of like, fantasy, for like football and stuff like that. And, I feel like this is something that, will kind of gain viewers and, fans for, all different sports. I mean, like you said, X Games, I mean, you're going to have a lot more people, looking into that. I mean, I was even listening to the radio the other day, and they were talking about how fantasy sports has done so much for baseball. As the baseball views have been going down, fantasy has really boosted up the viewing for baseball, and it shows right now, especially with the playoffs. But I mean, I feel like this can really boost everything, and even poker. I mean, people, you'll have the World Series of Poker.
Well, let's be honest, poker's
on ESPN.
Poker's been one of those things that basically, obviously, have lowered down since the loss of all those online websites. This is another way to actually get your money in. This is actually an incredibly ingenious idea. I'm definitely going to be visiting this place. This is incredible. I never even thought Wow.
It's been fantastic.
Yeah,
We've got
I can
a lot
imagine.
of big name pros that are actually playing on our site.
Oh wow.
What are celebrities or sports stars can someone back? Who could you back for this?
We've got a whole set of affiliates today that are on our site that are putting up packages for people to invest in. Guys like the reigning World Poker Player of the Year, Anthony Zeno.
Oh wow!
In fact, we've got a guy, Mike Leah, who has won over $4 million lifetime earnings.
Wouldn't mind a
He's
piece of
actually
that.
playing right now in Europe. In the final table.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
Is it on the World Poker Tour or?
No, that one's actually the World Series of Poker Europe.
Oh really? Wow. Oh wow. Okay. Oh wow.
This is actually pretty cool. I like this. But yeah, I mean, so you were saying is there any other stars that you have other than these two?
Oh yeah, we've got a whole set of people. In fact, one of our co-founders is a former Hollywood agent. And WSOP champion Jamie Gold. So he's got long-standing relationships, very close relationships with hundreds of famous actors, athletes,
of course,
Playboy playmates, musicians, icons, folks like that are all working with us right now and talking to us about putting packages up as we get to some of the larger events, like the World Series.
Of course, or even World Poker Tour attempts, even all around the world. Yeah, this is a great idea, man. This is definitely something. It's new, right?
It's definitely new. We just launched it 3 months ago.
Oh wow!
But in this 3 months, we've already had $2.5 million worth of stakes.
I can imagine, without a doubt. This is a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely something that I'm going to check out. But thank you very much, Scott. Everyone go out and check out uStake. Like I said, I know I will be. It was awesome having you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Scott.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate having me on. You take care.
You too. That really is a very that's a very, very great idea.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something very new. I mean, like we were talking about, poker was one of those things that you couldn't get any more popular than the way poker was about, maybe a little farther than that, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. Poker was one of the biggest things. You had the poker websites like Poker Stars and all this, but they obviously eventually getting shut down because of, suspicious activity.
Yeah.
And, it was all overseas and a lot of, difficulties. But this is more of a chance not to really play, but to invest. I think it's more of like an investing idea. I mean, you're able to invest on a professional poker player to do well in poker. Obviously, it's a risk. It's like putting money into like the stock market, really.
Yeah.
Which is a great opportunity. I mean, hey, if you want to go ahead and try to make yourself some money,
yeah, exactly. Before we go, we're going to give you a Tom and Jerry Sports Show 60-second summary. Mets take 2-1 series lead over the Los Angeles Dodgers after they score a franchise postseason best 13 runs. Chicago Cubs win 8-6 over the St. Louis Cardinals to take also a 2-1 lead in the series. In the AL, Toronto Blue Jays come back from a 2-0 series deficit to tie the series at 2 after an 8-4 win last night. Game 5 is Wednesday. Kansas City Royals also tie the series up at 2 with the Houston Astros behind a 9-6 win. Game 5 is also Wednesday. You got the Mets Game 4 tonight as well as the Chicago Cubs Game 4 tonight. Jamal Charles tore his ACL in his right knee on Sunday and will miss the remainder of the season. After losses of Kenny Demons and Alex Okafor, the Arizona Cardinals announced the signing of veteran pass rusher Dwight Freeney. Freeney tallied 40 QB hurries last year.
Wait, 40 years of age or 40?
40 QB hurries last year with the San Diego Chargers. Scary news, Giants tight end Daniel Fells could have his foot amputated after a potentially infected cortisone shot left him with a rare staph infection, MRSA.
Very sad.
Recently, Fells' fever went down and is feeling better. This is still a concern, but Fells is in high spirits. Giants dedicated their win over the 49ers to him and handed him the game ball. With recent news of CeCe Sabathia and his struggles with alcohol, USC's Steve Sarkisian checked himself into a alcohol rehab center as well. USC fired Sarkisian Monday when reports came out that he was intoxicated during a game. Sarkisian was reported to be intoxicated at a preseason booster event as well. USC fired Sarkisian one day after athletic director Pat Hayden announced Sarkisian would be taking indefinite leave of absence. Monday Night Football last night between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the San Diego Chargers. Steelers down 20-17 with 5 seconds left at the 1-yard line. Tomlin goes for it, and Le'Veon Bell takes a snap and reaches over for a Steelers win. And I'm Jerry Napoleonello, and that was your Tom and Jerry Sports Show 60-second summary. That will do it for the Tom and Jerry Sports Show this week.
Thanks for listening in, folks.
Keep an eye out for the podcast on iTunes. Subscribe. It will be up probably either tonight or tomorrow, depending on how much I can get done. It'll be on YouTube as well. Check that out. Follow us on all these websites. Definitely go on our website.
Way to be very discreet about it. Yeah. Just follow us everywhere, man, if you can.
Well, I have the list on our website. Go, we're trying to get on iHeartRadio, so the website Spreaker.com, that is on our website, tnjsports.weebly.com. Go follow us. We need 100 followers to get to put ourselves on iHeartRadio, so definitely go follow us on that. But again, that will do it for the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
Be breezy. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Tom and Jerry Show.